Okay, I'm done fussing with everything. This has been an hour of me getting everything ready for this podcast, so I don't know why it's such an issue this morning, but I was fighting with my hair, and writing show notes took 20 minutes, and then setting up the camera so it's close enough, and you don't have to see all of this. I just want you to see this, and the yarn and the knitting. Anyway, welcome to episode number 42 of my little knitting podcast called the Knits and Beads Podcast. I'm coming to you today is Friday, May 19th, and I live in upstate New York with my husband Joe and two little black kittens. Well, they're not kittens anymore. They're like 5 years old, but we have a nice little bungalow here in upstate New York. My husband's a teacher and I am a jewelry designer, and I do a lot of knitting in my free time along with some sewing, and I'm going to share some things I've been working on recently today. First of all, I'm not wearing my finished object because it's very warm. I'm drinking some water out of this awesome mug my husband got me for my birthday. My birthday was yesterday. I turned the big 4-3, and he got me some really great presents, this being one of them, so I wanted to show him off. Although I wish he had a face on this side, but at least I can see him. You just can't see him. You can see the back of his head. I'll talk more about my birthday at the end of the episode. So I do have a finished object, like I mentioned. I have finished my Morning Mist tee. This is a pattern, paid for pattern by Rowden on Ravelry, and this was a very long project. I believe it took me about 2 months to finish. And I'm so happy that it is finally done, because, oh my gosh, I don't know why it took so long. I think it was just because I was working on too many other things all at the same time, and I wasn't really like focusing on any one project. So when that happens, not a lot of finished objects come off the needles. I just feel like I'm knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting and knitting, and nothing is getting finished, and I get really burnt out on whatever it is I'm working on. So I think that's the problem with this project, but otherwise it was an extremely easy pattern. I highly recommend the pattern. Here it is, and like I said, I'm sorry I'm not wearing it. It's a little wrinkled because I've worn it a few times and it's been folded up, but this is the front. And this is the back. It has a beautiful lace panel on the back. The yarn I used for this, it calls for a DK weight, and I think that the pattern project page, like the main piece that she had done for her project page, was made with maybe something with a little bit more linen in it. But I used merino wool. This is Scandinavian Weave and Knit DK weight superwash yarn that I got at Rhinebeck. They have a booth at Rhinebeck, and the color is called Mineral with Sages. And when I first started knitting with it, I thought, oh God, it looks so I thought maybe it was kind of camo. It looks a little camo to me, camouflage, but as I kept knitting, I kind of got over that, and I don't feel that way now. In fact, I really enjoy wearing it. I love to wear khaki. The lace panel is kind of a khaki color, so this looks great with some khaki color linen pants that I have, or I could wear it with shorts or whatever. The lace panel I knit with the Fibre Company Acadia DK weight yarn in the driftwood color, And I don't know if you can see that, but it does have a little bit of tweed in it. It's very soft. In fact, I kind of wished I had made the whole sweater with the Fibre Company yarn, because I feel like it would be a little bit more of a summer top. I may knit another one. You never know. You never know. I would love another one because I really enjoy this top. It's definitely my style. I really enjoy it. The fit is perfect. I have showed pictures on my Instagram page and on my Ravelry project page of me wearing the sweater. So if you'd like to see that, please feel free to check out those places. But if you're thinking about knitting a t-shirt, this is a definite yes in my book. I loved it. Great project. Don't knit it with wool. That's my only advice because I feel like it's a little bit warm. It would have been good leading up to the weather we're having now, which is a little bit hot. But early spring weather in upstate New York would be perfect for this kind of wool garment. Wearing it now might not work out so good. This also could be a great fall sweater. In fact, I was thinking about wearing this when we go to Rhinebeck, and I will be going to Rhinebeck, by the way. So if you're going to be in Rhinebeck and you want to say hi, I will most likely be there Saturday and Sunday, and I do plan on attending the podcasters meetup that is usually around noon to 1 o'clock on the hill, and you'll be able to find us. There's thousands of knitters that kind of congregate in one area. I'm trying to think of if I can describe where it is. Yeah, it's really hard to... You'll find it. Don't worry, you'll find it. We found it, and we didn't really know where it was until we got there. So, anywho, that is my only finished object for this week. That's not true. I have a finished sewing object. I sewed up a little dot kit for myself, and I know I'm jumping ahead to sewing, but it's alright. This is a free pattern that I found on Ravelry, and I wanted to make myself one of these. I made one for a girlfriend of mine who sent me some fabric, and she is actually the one that told me about this fabric that I used on the exterior. This is Degeneres' fabric. It's available at Joann Fabrics, and it's part of her upholstery line, so a lot of it is more for pillows and home decor kind of stuff, but it really sewed up great, and I like it for this. I used a nice fleece interlining on this, and then I used some floral on the inside. And I just love those two fabrics together for some reason. They just speak to me. I used a nice kind of lilac color zipper and some webbing as the handle. And I just wanted some kind of little travel bag. I can throw my makeup and stuff in there when I go away. So it's a fun little project. And this fabric is really fun. It looks kind of like scribbles, but then every now and then you come across a readable word like love. And I think there's another one, happiness, kindness. So there, it's cute. So 2 finished objects for the week. Moving on to works in progress. Yesterday was my birthday, and I did a little self-care and decided to knit and knit and knit and knit. So I knit on my Aureate shawl by Lesley and Robinson of Knit Graffiti. I'm trying really hard to finish this shawl, you guys. It needs to be finished. I need to finish it. And unfortunately, I knit until I ran out of yarn. So now I am out of yarn, and I'm not done. It's very sad. So the thing is quite big at this point. This is the right side. This is the wrong side. And I am in the very last wedge, and I'm working the short rows, and I ran out of green. So I have messaged Jess of Haven Fibre Arts, because that's where I got the yarn for this project. This is her Grove colorway. It's a single ply merino. The teal is Spring Thaw, the white is Snowy Owl. And I'm hoping that she can sell me a mini skein so that I can finish this bad boy up, because I do not have enough yarn to finish finish the short rows and then bind off. So I really don't need a full skein. I only need a partial skein. Yeah, so that'll be hopefully finished by the next time I podcast. I just wanted to show it quickly. I'm keeping this in my Madder root bag. The yarn ball on it. The next thing, I'm doing the Joji Locatelli Mystery Wrap Knit Along, and you can go ahead and fast forward to this time to skip this if you don't want to see any of my progress, if you want all of this to remain a surprise when you get through it yourself. Just go ahead and skip ahead to that time, and I should be done chatting about it. I'm not going to talk too much about the pattern itself. I'm going to share my color choices, talk a little bit about the needles I'm using and the yarn I'm using, and that's about it. So I'm keeping this in my Jenna Rose handmade bucket bag. This is just the perfect bag, and I really wish I had about four more of these. I leave it right on the couch, and it's just perfect to kind of grab my knitting and go. But anyway, I wasn't going to participate in this knit along because initially I heard a long 1700 yard wrap, and I just decided that that wasn't probably for me. Rectangular scarf type of things, I'm just not good at. I don't know if you've been watching my podcast for a while. In the beginning of my podcast, maybe within the first 10 episodes, I talked about working on Joji's, one of Joji's projects, which was the same similar thing, and it took me forever to knit it. It was fingering weight yarn, chevron stripes on a light background, and I don't know why it took so long, but when I heard that, I didn't think I was going to want to do another one like that. But I thought, well, I'll wait, and I want to see what it looks like. So I'm not partial to finding out spoilers. Like, I'm okay with that. I don't mind. In fact, I really enjoy seeing what everybody else is working on. So I saw kind of the beginnings of a couple of different people, because the first clue came out last Friday, and people are so fast. By that evening, I saw quite a few, or actually by that afternoon, I saw quite a few of quite a bit of progress being made on them. And when I saw it, I thought, it looks interesting. It looks like it will keep my attention. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So I went upstairs and I looked in my stash to try to find yarn. I didn't want to buy any yarn for this project. Obviously, I don't have a local yarn store to buy yarn at, so whatever I have in stock is what I'm going to use. So I looked to see what I had. The idea that I got from looking at people's projects and their yarn choices, and like the yarn choices that Joji has been sharing online, was that there was one main speckled yarn, and then the more tonal solid colors were pulling out of the colors in the speckled yarn. So that's what I went to. I looked at all my speckles and tried to find a good base and then built off of that. And it really didn't take me long, like a couple of minutes later, and I had my yarn figured out, and I came right down and caked it up. Once I had it all caked up, I kind of had a little bit of a, do I like it? Is it right? I don't know. And then I kind of was thinking I was rethinking it, and finally I'm like, just trust your first instincts and go with it. So this is my speckle. This is Ching Fibre, and it's the Shu Sui colorway. And this particular base is the super soft sock. So it's a cashmere merino nylon blend. It is so soft, and it's kind of like a pale aqua background with the speckles of neon yellow, orange, pink, black. And so that was my main color, and then I chose, okay, let's see, this. This is Fibre from Farmer's Daughter's Fibre. This one in particular is the Rocky Mountain Pearls. And the colorway is a one-of-a-kind colorway, and it doesn't really have a name, but it's kind of a tonal navy blue. And it's got a nice high twist on it, which I have decided that this is my favorite type of sock yarn to use. I love knitting with this, even more than 4-ply. I also chose another yarn from Farmer's Daughter's Fibre. This is the Willow Sock, so this is more of a 2-ply fingering. Is it 2? No, it's more than that. It might be a 4-ply. And it's kind of just that beautiful, my favorite green, kind of a tonal. The colorway is called Emil, E-M-I-L. I don't know how to pronounce it. So yes, they're kind of similar, but this one is a little bit darker. And then I chose this for a neutral. This was sent to me from a swap I did recently, and it's a homespun house soft sock. So it's very similar base to the Farmer's Daughter, and the colorway is Fog, and it's kind of a really pale gray lavender. And then for a pop of color, I chose this. This is and this is a wonky ball that, because I ripped out that shawl I was doing with this yellow. More on that later, but this is Knit Picks Gloss Fingering in Honey. So the colors together look kind of like this. And I'm really enjoying the way that they are knitting up. I'm going to go ahead and show my progress, so if you've watched up until this point, go ahead and skip ahead. I'm knitting the 2 parts, and that's all I'm going to say, on 2 different needles because I don't have the option to do the whole thing on one type of needle. So 1/2 I am doing on my Hiya Sharps US 6. Hard to see that. It's a 4mm needle. My needle of choice. The other one I had started knitting it with my Knitter's Pride Rosewood interchangeables, and the tips are not sharp enough to do some of the twisted rib. So I switched needles, and now I am using the Tulip brand bamboo needles with the swiveling cord, and these have a really nice sharp point, especially for being a wood or a bamboo needle. So I'm going to show this to you real quick. Here's part 1. This is clue 1 and part of clue 2. And the other one looks identical. So when I was putting the colors together, she has you assign numbers to the 5 colors, and by doing that then you know what color to knit next. And so as I started knitting, I realized that 2 of the colors that I had chosen to go next to each other were these, and that wasn't working for me, so I decided to swap my number 3 and number 4 colors so that I have this navy in between these, and that is better for me. So mine looks a little bit different than everyone else's in that their speckled yarns are this would be their speckled yarn, these big fatter stripes, but my speckled yarn are these thinner eyelet stripes, and I really like that. I think it's awesome. So I am extremely happy I decided to do this knit. I'm really enjoying it. I love that Joji has broken it up into stripes, so then there's different textures and different colors. It keeps my attention more. It's not just knitting, knitting, knitting and stockinette all one color, which is dreadful and boring and has its place. I mean, I know some people really like the look of that, and even I like the look of it, but knitting it is not really fun. So this has definitely been a really fun project, and the second clue just came out today, so I started a little bit of that this morning, and I haven't really read ahead. I'm just reading it as I'm knitting and going along, and it's going to be a complete surprise. I haven't really gone online to look at the next part to like tease myself. I haven't done that, so I'm just gonna keep going, and this knit along is going to go for a while, I believe 5 or 6 weeks. So the next time I podcast, if you are okay with me showing it, great, I'll keep showing it, and those of you who want to see it can watch, and I will make sure to put the timestamp so that you can kind of skip ahead if you don't want to see it. So but that is what I'm working on. Those are my 2 main works in progress. So as I mentioned before, the sewing, I've just done a little bit of gift sewing, nothing major. I do have some things I want to sew up for some swaps that I am going to be participating in. And also I'm going to be making some stitch markers and progress keepers. So look out for that, because maybe I will make a bunch and throw them in my website. I don't know. I also am working on my quilt. I've got it behind me. This is the quilt I am doing for the Brooklyn Knit Folk Quilt Along. I am very happy with this. It's quite large. It's a scrap quilt, so I'm using a lot of scraps from my stash. It's a 6-inch square quilt, and I have attached the top layer to the batting, and also the backing is attached, And I've also gone ahead and sewed, I tied it. You can choose to sew it on your machine, stitch in the ditch, like stitch along the seams, but I decided that seemed a little fiddly for me, so I went ahead and tied it with floss. The floss I chose was kind of an eggplant color, and I chose the same color to do the binding. So I'm just waiting at this point for the next video to come out to show me how to finish this, and I'm really excited because it's going to be really nice to have a handmade blanket, and I'm already thinking about what I want to do for my next quilt. So I have this idea in my head that I'm going to do a batik style quilt with all different batiks. I just love batik, it's my favorite. And that'll be coming down the pipeline eventually. I do have some dream knitting, and I'm going to insert pictures here as I'm talking about these. I have some things I've been looking at on Ravelry that I really want to possibly work on in the future, in the very near future. The first of them is a Oregon shawl that I don't know how to pronounce the name. I'll put it on the screen here for you. Joji? I don't know. It's gorgeous. As you can see, it's gorgeous. Now, the thing I was noticing is that it is knit with a fingering weight yarn, and I want to use my Shibui Mai, M-A-I-I. It's a chainette construction, but I believe it's DK weight. So I'm not sure if I'm going to want to do the math on all that, and I'm just not sure. But I may try to knit it anyway, because I just feel like the color I have is very similar to the project picture, and I think that the cables will really pop on using that color. Another one that I'm in love with is 2nd Avenue. It's a long rectangular wrap, but with lots of different textures and colors, by Amy Miller. She just rolled that out like a week ago, and I love it. One of the edges has a beautiful like scallop on it, and Sarah of the Plucky Knitter was knitting it last week. You probably, if you follow her on Instagram, you probably saw her project that she was trying to finish up before they did a big trunk show in New York City. God, I would have loved to go to that. I love Plucky Knitter so much. It's like, I've knit with it a few times. When I first started knitting, I went a little crazy and bought a bunch of their yarn during some big updates, and it's so amazing. If you've never knit with Plucky Knitter, you really should buy a skein. Now they have a great option on their website where you go and check out the reserve, and the reserve is yarns that are ready to ship, and you can do it, seriously. If anything, try the Primo fingering yarn. It is just so wonderful to knit with. I love it. Another one is a sweater. It's a short sleeve sweater with a lace on it called Tena. I don't know. Caitlin, how do you pronounce this? No idea. This is by Caitlin Hunter. Also, no, never mind. Tena, I don't know. It's gorgeous, love it. And the last one is a shawl called Blossom. Kerr Gwynedd Knits. I don't really know. I will put that on the screen so you can see. They're all just so lovely. People are so talented. Oh my God, can you stand it? So, next thing I want to talk about is my Fibre share package, because I think I got this around the time that I podcasted last time and I didn't get to share it with you. I signed up for the Fibre share swap recently and got paired up. The woman that sent my package to me is from Indiana. Her name is Heather, and her Instagram is HL WARD 500 if you want to check her out. She knits, she sews, and she's really, really good sewist. Like, wow. I was drooling over her whole Instagram feed. She's so talented. And she sent me a wonderful package. I just wanted to share a few of the things that she sent me because they're so wonderful. First of all, the yarn she sent me, Classic Elite Toboggan. This is gorgeously soft. It's an alpaca, super fine alpaca merino blend in teal. Can't go wrong with that. That's screaming hat to me. It's gonna be awesome. I love it. It looks like a bulky weight. I've knit with this before. I knit a shawl with it, but loved it. This is the Found Pottery colorway of Madeline Tosh DK. Just gorgeous speckles. And this is the first ever yarn that I've ever had from Lolo Did It. And this is her Baby Got Yak base. So it's a yak silk merino blend. And the colorway is called Welcome to the Jungle. It's awesome. I love it. Heather nailed it with these yarns, seriously. She's so in tune. She's been following me. She's been following my jewelry career for a very long time, which was kind of cool to find out. And now follows my podcast and Instagram and my knitting journey. So she sent me those, and then the thing that like was icing on that cake was this. This thing, I'm telling you, is like my favorite thing of all time. She made me a sew together bag. I've been looking at this pattern for a really long time, and I'm just not brave enough to do it because look at all of that bias tape. Oh, it's a little scary. I'm pretty sure she hand stitched that. Oh my gosh, it's just perfect. Oh, owls, can you stand it? I have all of my knitting notions in here, and it's the perfect bag for this. It's got 3 zippered pockets inside and then pockets within. And it's holding everything. It holds my scissors, my stitch marker tins, my row counter, everything, pens. I just could not believe she made this for me, and it made me a little teary. So thank you, Heather, so much. This is like the best thing ever. I love it so much. And eventually I'm going to try to make one. It will never be as good as this, though. Never be. I just love the fabric she chose for it too, and the owls. Oh, it's so awesome. She also sent me some fabric, just little swatches of fabric, and I thought I would show them too. This is so cute. And then this one, this little typewriters on it. I actually thought about cutting out the typewriter and doing a bag with the applique, the typewriter on like a solid color bag. I may do that, I don't know. But so cute. So cute. That's pretty much all I have for the sewing and knitting content of today's podcast. So if that's all you came for, please feel free to mosey along. I'm going to just chat a little bit about life stuff and my birthday. So life stuff, not too much going on. I've been sick for a week. I finally got back to the gym. I went 3 days in a row. I was doing so good. And then I got sick. So boo to Planet Fitness and the germ infested machines there, because I came down with some upper respiratory baloney that's been causing me to lose sleep, and I'm a bear when I don't get my 8 hours. So I'm finally getting over it. So there's that. And I'm hoping that next week I can get back to the gym, because I really want to use the treadmill every day, and I want to start doing some light weightlifting also, just to bulk up. No, I just need to tone up everything. Everything is just feels like everything's sagging and yuck. So being sick is kind of a bummer, but I was looking very forward to my birthday, as always. If you've watched my podcast last year, I talked big about my birthday. I always make my birthday into this big thing in my head where it's my day, and I just wanted it to be extra special, and it was. My husband got me some beautiful gifts. He bought me a turntable, so that was really exciting. I had wanted one for a while. He got me a couple albums to go with it, Prince and Adele, and my girlfriend got me Coldplay. So I have three vinyls in my collection so far, which is exciting. I do want to get that set up with some speakers, because the speakers within it does play without being hooked up to speakers, but it's not very loud. So I'll be working on that this weekend. He got me a pressure cooker, which I'm excited to use. And heads up, if any of you have any really great pressure cooker recipes, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I am looking for things more on the paleo side to make in it, because it seems like the recipes I'm finding online for pressure cookers are a lot of like really rich, gravy, saucy type of things. And those are things that I love, but those are not things I should be eating right now. So, like I said, if you have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. And the one thing that I bought myself for my birthday is this little guy. There is a seller online. She has an Etsy store. She's amazing. Amazing ceramicist. And I've always looked at her pieces as pretty untouchable. And for some reason, I caught an update. I don't know how it happened. I went on Instagram and saw that she had done a surprise update, and I went there and there were things in the store, and I lost my mind and bought something. So this is her card. That is one of her owl pieces. Yeah. Her name's Laura Mears. And as you know, I love owls. And I just could not resist this little owl. It's a cabochon, which means it doesn't have any holes in it, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with it, but it's amazing. Look at his little face. Oh my gosh. He's so cute. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. If you could only see the detail on this. So that's the back. It's just a flat cab. Oh my gosh. I just love it. I just love it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe like a little necklace, or I was thinking a ring, but I don't do silversmithing. I don't do metal work, but I know a lot of people who do. And I've been kind of talking to someone about it, but I just don't think I can afford it right now. So this might just be sitting and waiting for something perfect. But if anything, you should go to Laura Mears' Etsy store and check out her sold items, because oh my gosh, they're so good. So good. That's all I got for today. If you want to check me out online and other places, I'm Lorelei Erdo on Instagram and Ravelry. My Etsy store where I sell jewelry is LorelaiErdoJewelry.etsy.com. I have a website where I sell some sewed stuff, jewelry, tutorials, pretty much all that stuff. It's LorelaiErdo.com. And if you are checking me out for the first time, thank you so much for sitting through my episode. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. So nice to see you guys again. And I should be back in about 2 weeks with my next podcast. So thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys soon.